Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Bitcoin and cryptocurrency news. I am George. Happy Friday. Uh, I find it really funny today because, as you can see in the headline or the title, the main topic is about Bitcoin whales are selling and Grayscale is buying. And I really find this funny, and I really want to talk to you guys about this because it seems like some Bitcoin whales are still in disbelief. Like a lot of people out there, a lot of people just simply does not believe that Bitcoin can move past 20,000. And it seems like some Bitcoin whales are also thinking the same thing. I don't know if they're inadvertently thinking the same thing or purposely doing or thinking the same thing, or it's just really funny to me. So I want to talk about that today. And also, of course, there's a lot of other Bitcoin related news and some crypto news that I want to share. And of course, it's Friday, so happy Friday. I used to only stream on Friday. Actually, no, I used to daily stream. Then I went to streaming on Friday. Now I'm back to daily streaming because there's just so much coming for the remaining of this year and 2021. You guys definitely don't want to miss it, and neither do I. So, thanks for tuning in, guys. As always, make sure you smash up the like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell if you are new. And of course, I have my Twitter handle underneath. Follow me on Twitter. I have my Vegas fund, my QR code that is dedicated for just a Vegas trip that's coming in 2021. And of course, I have my Patreon page up. So those of you guys that want some more exclusive content and you want to chat with me and other like-minded individuals that believe in crypto, then check out the page. All right, let's get started. What is going on with Bitcoin? Well, today, Bitcoin went down slightly, about 400, 500 points lower than yesterday. And it's funny because now 19.5 is now this ultimate resistance, right? We all thought it would be 20,000, but it turns out it's 19.5 for some reason. That this is the stand that people are betting against, right? Whales are betting or basically placing their bets on 19.5. They're either shorting or they're dumping right now, and they're trying to make it so that Bitcoin does not reach 20,000 and beyond. And like I said at the beginning, I kind of find this funny because I don't know if this is like their fear that they're about to lose control, right? Or maybe they feel like, oh, they're in the same position. They don't feel like they have enough Bitcoin, so they're trying to play games to kind of, curb enthusiasm. I don't know what their end game is, but right now what's happening is they're losing. I've been saying for this past week, don't transfer your wealth to the bigger guys, right? To the bigger whales or to the institutional investors, because every single Bitcoin that is being mined is being bought out right now by institutional investors. And it seems like the whales are falling for the same trap because they're trying to sell. They're trying to make sure Bitcoin does not go above 20,000, yet they're losing the game because you know who's buying up all the Bitcoins? Grayscale and institutional investors. So that's why I find this really funny. So yesterday, if you guys were paying attention, especially mid-afternoon, yesterday night, Bitcoin again touched upon 19.5 several times. You could see that, let me zoom out a little bit. You could see that Bitcoin is on an up and up and up and up and up trajectory. And, it was nearing the apex, right? But it was getting really, really close. You could see that 19.5 was breached slightly here again and again. And then it just wouldn't go above. And it came back down a little bit again. But still, we know that this is temporary and it's going to come back up. But why? Why is this happening, right? It's because whales are deciding that is their stance. They want to sell. There's a lot of articles and analysis. If you look at the order books on all the major exchanges, there's a ton of sell orders at 19.5. And it's caused by the whales. They keep selling and keep selling and keep selling at 19.5 as Bitcoin presses against it and moves higher, right? But guess who wins in the end? Well, institutional investors and Grayscale. Grayscale added 7,188 Bitcoins in 24 hours. And this was 5 hours ago. Who knows how much more Grayscale is adding? You know, these institutional investors with billions upon billions to trillions of dollars, they're laughing this up. They don't care about these Bitcoin whales selling 10,000 Bitcoins, 20,000 Bitcoins. They got more than enough to eat it all up. So I really find the irony right now is that, you know, I've been saying how don't, you know, transfer your wealth. Don't fall for the whale games. Don't sell your Bitcoin to whales. And now the whales are doing the same thing. They're desperately clinging on to their power, I guess, or they're trying to make a move and trying to cause fear and cause some, you know, some pullback or something. But what they're doing is they're transferring their Bitcoin to institutional investors. So that's really unfortunate. So if you look at Grayscale, well, I don't know if that's unfortunate. That could be good because that could mean that the whalish games comes to a stop. But if you look at Grayscale now, they published this yesterday. So again, it wasn't updated, but you can see their Bitcoin Trust has added another 200 million since a few days ago, right? And that's because they added 7,000 Bitcoins just yesterday, over 7,000 Bitcoin. So now the Bitcoin Trust is over $10.5 billion. 10.5, right? That's enormous. That's enormous how much Bitcoin they hold. Now, for those of you guys that are still confused, Grayscale is just a company that's providing this trust. Doesn't mean that the company itself is buying everything. It's investors, institutional investors, really rich people, really rich organizations. If they want exposure to Bitcoin, what they do is they call up Grayscale and like, hey, I want to dump 100 million, 200 million into Bitcoin. Can you help me do that? They're like, yes, give us your money. We'll buy Bitcoin and store in our Bitcoin Trust and give you some shares. That's how it works, right? And the reason why this is going up so astronomically fast and high, it's not because Grayscale themselves are buying it because they're rich. No, it's because people are calling Grayscale and saying, I want exposure to Bitcoin. That's what's happening. So right now, what we're seeing is the whales are transferring their wealth to the institutional investors. And I think they can only do this for so long before they run out of power, right? And as Bitcoin's market cap continues to go up and up and up, it's at 350 billion. As this climbs to 700 billion, 1 trillion, 2 trillion, the whales are basically going to lose all their leverage because the big money is buying up everything they can, right? So what's the point of this? Well, you need to follow big money, right? That's what I want to do and what I've been doing. That's what you guys should do, right? If you watch carefully, that's what I've been basically streaming all along, that pay attention to what's happening behind the scenes. Too many people just focus on the day-to-day price. They're looking at today, and I see the comments already. Oh, Bitcoin will never pass 20,000. Oh, Bitcoin is coming down, blah, 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 right? Just a lot of people that is causing FUD at this point. And if you're just looking at the daily swings, you could drive yourself nuts. What you want to look at is what Bitcoin has been doing for this year, what has been doing for the past few years, what has been doing in its entire existence, and what it's doing is going up. And there's many, many, many reasons why it is doing so. And right now, the name of the game is, you want to accumulate because the big money is coming in. They're trying to grab as much Bitcoin as they can, but there is still time for the rest of us to grab as much as we can too, while we still can, because when I'm streaming next year and this number is 10 times higher than where it is now, that's no longer cheap. It's no longer cheap Bitcoin at that time, but it is still now. So that is what's happening. That's the main thing I want to talk about, and I think it's really, really, really funny, and the irony of it. So these Bitcoin whales, they better watch out. They're about to lose all their Bitcoin pretty soon if they keep playing these games. But anyways, I do think that this weekend we're going to see some movement. I've been saying that since the beginning of this week. I'm like, this week is the week we see 20,000. I'm going to stick to that. Because we're just there. Yesterday, we went up to like 19.6, okay, before coming down. I have no doubt that this weekend we could possibly make a move again beyond 19.5, and this time the whales, just say, okay, we had enough. We're not losing any more Bitcoin to Wall Street and stuff. Then guess what? Floodgates open, Bitcoin climbs to 20,000, and who knows what happens after that. So it could come this weekend, but if it doesn't, so what? We have to wait one more week, right? But we're right there. We're like right there. It's so close. You could taste it, but not there yet, but it's very, very close. Anyways, all right, so what else is there? Well, this video talks about a few interesting things, and this kind of relates to institutional buying. So I'm not going to play the video. I'm just going to go over and highlight a few things. First of all, if you look at the Bitcoin, the people that are inflowing or buying Bitcoin in 2020 versus 2017 and 18, you could see that most of it was from Asia, right? We're talking about like Japan and South Korea. They're very, very big in Bitcoin and crypto. So you can see in 2017, 2018, what's interesting is North America, or I should just say Wall Street, wasn't buying Bitcoin until the very end, right? You can see the FOMO stage right here, but it was mostly driven by Asia. And that's interesting. I don't know how they got that data. And you could see Asia just kept buying and buying and buying and buying until 2019, when then it started going down. But you could see North America went down a little bit, right? This was at probably the widest margin, but North America started buying up. Of course, we had a dip over here, right? And then look at it now. This is madness, right? In terms of how much money is coming in from North America versus Asia now, right? This is a wide gap, very wide gap. And do you know why North America is climbing parabolically? It's because of Wall Street. That is why. I've been talking about institutional investors. You could see it. You could see it with Grayscale. You could hear it with all these billionaires and hedge fund guys coming out saying to buy Bitcoin, right? They're all in the US and they're all from Wall Street. And that's what's happening right now. Wall Street is FOMOing into Bitcoin. So this is pretty staggering if you look at it. While Asia, of course, they still have a large amount of money, but they're not FOMOing right now. It's Wall Street, and they're trying to just buy up every single Bitcoin they can. And they have been, basically. I've showed you guys this, but in case you didn't see this, if you look at this chart right here, just in November alone, Grayscale and their clients bought more than double the number of BTC mined in November. And this number is not going to change. This is a set number, roughly around 900 per day, give or take a few here or there. But this is going to stay at this point until the next halving event, which is 4 years from now, which is in 2024. Then this will be cut in half. It gets more and more scarce, right? But this number is only going to increase as FOMO builds up, right? So that's why every single one is being gobbled up. But anyways, what else is there that's interesting in this video? Well, there's a few other things that's interesting. Let me go forward a little bit if I could show you these charts. The number of withdrawals on addresses that is worth over $1 million have increased 180% in 2020 versus 2017. So this is also a very telling story. So what does this mean? This means the very rich, what they're doing is they're buying Bitcoin and then they're withdrawing it and they're go hodl. That's what they're doing, right? They're not leaving their $1 million plus of Bitcoin and crypto on the exchanges to be day trading or swing trading. No, what they're doing is they're like, okay, I want to buy Bitcoin. I buy $1 million, $5 million, $10 million, and then they transfer out to a custody service, or they transfer out to a cold wallet like Ledger or something, and they're safeguarding it, right? This is a very telling thing also. Keep in mind, 2017 was basically driven by retail FOMO. This didn't really happen. 2020, not driven by retail FOMO yet. All big money coming in, big and smart money, and that is what they're doing. And there's another chart in here. I don't know if I missed it. Hopefully I can find it here. Bitcoin held by investors versus traders in 2017 versus 2020, right? This is also a very telling sign that, yeah, investors are actually investing. They're not actually trading. I don't want to move this, but take a look at 2017, right? The orange is the average Joes. They consider this like retail investors and also people that are day trading, right? And you can see in 2017, 2018, it was about even with just the average investor that's just holding. But you could see it spiked up, right? But then since then, what has happened? The number of holders just kept increasing. Didn't matter what happened, right? These are the people that's been dollar cost averaging for a long time. What has happened? Right? They've been just buying and buying and holding and buying and holding and buying, right? And look at it now, right? The number of people that are just simply holding vastly outweigh the people that are now trying to day trade, right? And this also is because of what I just showed you, institutional investors buying large amounts of Bitcoin and withdrawing from the exchanges. So this is also a telling story. And another reason why 2020 is very different from 2017. I know a lot of people still compare, similarities, and the price level is pretty similar, but what's happening right now is so different than 2017, which was driven by retail FOMO. People didn't really understand. Now is driven by institutional investors, holders, and people that are really utilizing Bitcoin as a store of value rather than a speculative play, right? So very, very, very different. So I really like this video. I might do a deeper analysis on this video because there's a lot more things that was said. So if I do, I'm going to show my other page, Crypto Today, right? Make sure you guys follow me on Crypto Today. I'm going to be doing just segment videos on that channel, right? So make sure you guys subscribe. The link is in the description of this video. So look out for my other video later today or this weekend. All right. Now, moving on to Tudor Jones, who is getting more and more and more and more and more bullish on Bitcoin by the second. So he has said a lot of things, right? He openly admits, like, I don't completely understand Bitcoin. I'm not like a Bitcoin like expert or anything. But obviously, when you have a self-made billionaire and one of the most respected guys on Wall Street, when he talks, people listens. And he's making an analogy, and it just makes a whole lot of sense. So to quote, Bitcoin reminds me so much of the internet stocks of 1999 because the internet was in its infancy. And I remember, I grew up, I was going into college in 1999, right? And back then, people were saying the same things they were saying about crypto now. Like, there's no way you go have transactions being done on a public internet. It's not secure. You can't do those kind of things and blah, 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 right? No one was thinking about mobile at that time because it really didn't exist yet, right? So it was really in its infancy. And of course, there was a bubble pop, the dot-com bubble, right? And that kind of reminds me of what happened with crypto in 2017. The bubble burst on all these promising projects, altcoins, and their ICOs. Very similar. Okay, but to continue. No one knew how to value it because of the world of possibility that lay ahead. What you can be certain of is that probably 20 years from now, our kids and grandkids, whatever, all of us will be using some kind of digital currency. Digital currency will be used by every sovereign. I believe that. I mean, we're starting to hear that already. China is doing it, going all out. US, they're trying to figure out how to counter it. And you know that once China and US go fully digital, every other country in the world is going to go fully digital, right? So this is what we're evolving to. It's for sure coming, right? But just because the USD becomes digital or the yuan becomes digital does not mean that it displaces Bitcoin, because Bitcoin will simply become a digital gold. Bitcoin will be a store of value, which is what is happening right now too. And it's non-correlating asset. It's non-sovereign, so no one can control it. So there are inherent properties of Bitcoin that are just so different from anything else. So, yeah, Tudor Jones just keeps getting more and more and more bullish on Bitcoin, and that's not a bad thing at all. All right, what else is there? Pakistan, the whole country moves to legalize Bitcoin as the economy tumbles. So I'll be the first to admit I don't know the economic situation in Pakistan, but I do know that when a whole country is basically legalizing Bitcoin, embracing Bitcoin, and possibly can move the reserves to Bitcoin, that is a very bullish sign. And that is what's happening right now. So currently, after I read the story, it seems like Pakistan's very anti-crypto. A couple people were caught trading and they were sentenced to jail. But now, Parliament, all these financial people, they're working together and they want to get rid of all the anti-crypto laws because they actually want to utilize Bitcoin as a store of value because their fiat currency is collapsing, right? So it's really interesting that countries now, entire countries now, are now embracing Bitcoin. They're not trying to embrace USD. They're trying to embrace Bitcoin. So this is the start of it too. We've heard of Iran do the same thing to get around U.S. sanctions, but still, the central bank in Iran is buying Bitcoin from miners. They're actually utilizing as a reserve currency, right? And now it seems like Pakistan wants to do the same thing. So as more and more countries do this, you could see how USD becomes less and less important. And this was what BlackRock was saying just 2 days ago. The CEO said that Bitcoin makes holding USD basically not as important anymore, right? And we're starting to see it, right? These are things you got to pay attention to. We're moving towards there. Not everything can happen overnight, but if you think about Bitcoin has only been around for 11 years, and for this to happen after 11 years, from someone out of thin air to create this payment system, this store of value that is meant to disrupt banks and central banks and countries, for this to happen so quickly in 11 years, that is amazing. It basically should be impossible, right? This should be impossible, but somehow it's not, and it's coming true. So if you're in it, then you're doing it right. All right. So now let's talk about stuff that's not related to Bitcoin, just a few articles. But I find this funny now that CNN is now shilling altcoins. So look at this headline. Forget Bitcoin, these cryptocurrencies are surging even more. And guess who that is? But yeah, so if you look in here, who do they talk about? Of course, they talk about XRP. They also talk about NEM, which is interesting. There's not a lot of people that talk about NEM. Who else do they talk about? No one. Just mostly XRP. I guess this is just a paid piece by XRP. But anyways, yeah. I mentioned about FOMO. Retail FOMO hasn't really started yet because people are waiting to see Bitcoin break 20,000. And plus, a lot of these news outlets didn't really start, talking about Bitcoin and altcoins, but we're starting to see it now. If CNN is starting to talk about it, but I'm thinking this is just a paid piece by Ripple, so maybe this doesn't count. But it'll please those of you guys that hold XRP. All right, Ethereum 2.0, their beacon chain has 1 million ETH locked in. That's a lot. Over 600 million is now staked in the world's most used blockchain just days after Beacon Chain. So, kind of interesting. A lot of people believe. Let's see what it is now. If it went up even more. Yeah, it went up by another 20,000. No, 50,000 ETH. Man, it's still growing. A lot of people really believe in Ethereum. I don't know. I just don't share the same kind of enthusiasm, but a lot of people do. So we'll see what happens. They're working on phase 1 now to incorporate sharding and a whole bunch of other stuff. They're trying to figure out how long it's going to take. Hopefully it's not going to take another 3 years because by then it's maybe a little bit too late for them. But yeah, a lot of people very excited about Ethereum. All right. So I don't know what John Doe is. I don't know what you're mad about, but I don't like open threats. So bye-bye. All right. Lastly, I've been waiting for this for a long time. And now I guess it happened. I don't know the repercussions of this. I guess maybe because I didn't know how centralized or decentralized OMG was. But now you have a company, a trading firm that acquired OMG Network. This is very interesting. OMG used to be known as Omi's Go. Now they rebranded OMG, and they're a second layer solution for Ethereum. Although Ethereum didn't really embrace them, but once upon a time that Vitalik was like advisor to OMG. They were really buddies, but Vitalik has kind of distanced himself away. But anyways, now you have a firm that acquires an entire blockchain project, right? So we know that Tether moved over entirely to OMG. That's a good thing. So it shows that the network is very robust, right? But in terms of, the number of floating tokens out there, who's running, the whole governance system, I guess, right? In terms of voting and all that stuff, I guess it didn't really matter. I don't know if they had a vote or something, but I guess it can happen, right? Because I said this about BAT. I've been saying this about BAT for a long time, Basic Attention Token, because BAT has a great browser, has a great digital advertising system, and I'm waiting for someone like Microsoft to buy them out because it will really help Microsoft. The Edge browser is just junk, and Brave browser is so much better, right? So I've been waiting to see if something like this can happen, and I guess it can. So we'll see the consequences of this. But looking at their price, it didn't really move them either way. Yeah, they're about even. So I guess people just don't know about it or don't care about it. But this is a pretty big acquisition. Because OMG is $500 million in market cap. I doubt this OTC trading firm actually acquired them, actually paid them $500 million for it. So I don't know. And look at it, circuit supply and total supply, right? It seems like everything is already distributed or airdropped, right? Doesn't seem like the team is holding on any more tokens. So I don't know how this works. I actually don't. So kind of curious. I want to see. All right. I'll turn it back to you guys. That's all I have to say. Bitcoin is at 19,000, right at 19,000, which is like roughly 300, 400 points less than yesterday. But I find it really funny that the whales are trying to out-whale Wall Street, and that is not going to happen. That is not going to happen. Wall Street has so much money. So I don't know what the whales are trying to do. I guess this is their last attempt to try to drop Bitcoin a little bit, maybe to cause some fear, cause a little bit more doubt, and get people to sell and transfer the wealth to the whales, right? Because maybe the whales realize that after 20,000, they're going to lose control, right? So I don't know what their game is. But what they're doing is not working because Bitcoin is not dropping significantly, and Grayscale continues to add more and more and more Bitcoin. How much does 7,200 Bitcoin cost? Anyways, I'm just curious. 7,200 times 19,000. I mean, yeah, that's $137 million. So Grayscale clients basically call Grayscale's like, I want to buy another $137 million of Bitcoin. So these guys could buy infinite amounts. I mean, I don't know what the whales, how much reserves they have, but it's not going to be enough. They're just going to transfer all their wealth away. But anyways, yeah, the irony of this whole situation is just funny. All right, let's do some Q&A. You're right. Yeah, it could be accredited investor, right? It doesn't have to be all institutions, but I would say if you're adding 100 and plus million overnight, it's mostly from institutional investors, not accredited investors. There's a fake Marco Polo running around. No offense, but why is there a fake one running around posing as you? What is bigger than a whale? Uh, Wall Street. Yeah, I heard Libra rebranded them. It's stupid. People still know. I guess the thing was like Libra got such a bad name, so they're rebranding as if people don't know that they're rebranding. That's not gonna change anything. So I think that rename was just stupid. Um, Edge still sucks. I don't care if it's based on Chromium or not, and I don't care you can use Chrome apps. I just don't trust it. I used to be a big fan of Internet Explorer, and then Edge just killed it. I never change your icon. Oh yeah. Well, I guess someone posed as you because there was another one with a different icon in here. One more correction. I saw someone else also asked, are we gonna go down to 14 or 15K before coming up? I don't I don't think so. If we were to go fall to 15, 14, 15K, I think this would have happened. You know, this was obviously a whalish game, right? Bitcoin was overbought and it didn't need to come down, but obviously the whales drove it down pretty hard. And as much as they pushed, it only went to 16.2, and everyone was expecting a bigger drop than this. I mean, everyone literally thought it could go to 14, 12, 10K. Everyone was waiting for a bigger drop, but guess what happened? Bitcoin came up even faster, a V-shaped recovery. So I don't expect a 14 or 15K drop at this point. I mean, we go about 20,000 and we have another drop. I mean, I just don't see us falling below this because Grayscale is always there. Grayscale and Grayscale clients is always going to be buying up. And the only reason I think this happened is because the whales timed it to be right around Thanksgiving. They knew most institutional clients and Grayscale themselves were off, and it was the weekend too, and there was really no opportunity for them to buy. Guess what happened the next week? Starting on Monday, and that was this week, right? This happened, right? All those clients are like, yeah, thank you. Give me the free Bitcoin, basically. And that's why I just don't think with institutions with buying behind the scenes, I just don't think we're going to see that massive drop. Now, if you're looking at the indicators, we're nowhere as overbought as these, at least on the shorter time frame. So if you look at like the daily, you know, look at this point is when we fell, okay? RSI was at 81. I'll make these bigger on purpose. But you could see when we fell from 19.5 basically down to 16.2, you could see that RSI on the daily was 81. It got as high as 84, and stochastic was at 95. Look at where Bitcoin is now, right? Stochastic is at 28, nowhere close to being up. And RSI itself at 61. So again, not in the 80s, right? So this shows to me that there's still a lot more momentum to grow. This easily means that Bitcoin could push past 20,000, go to 21, 22, 23, 25 before these numbers top out again, and then it's ready to come down. And who knows? Maybe we go to 25, we come down back down to 20 or 19K. We could see another 6,000 point drop or something like that. That could be fine, but it just brings us back to where we are now. It's not like it's sending us back for months or something. So, I mean, looking at this, there's plenty of room to grow. 4 hours, the same thing. Look at when Bitcoin fell over here, you know, both were not that high, but they topped out, right? Bitcoin was, the stochastic RSI was 92, RSI was at 70, right? And then it started coming down and dipped all the way down here. But you look at where Bitcoin is now, I mean, stochastic is actually on the way down, right? It's getting close to being bottoming out. And RSI is in the middle. So if you look at these short-term indicators, it does not look like Bitcoin is going to fall. Now, whales could try to, you know, still, you know, set a ceiling at 19.5 and try to keep Bitcoin there. but they're going to lose. They're just going to transfer all their Bitcoins to Grayscale. If they try to do that this weekend again, I bet you the headlines for next week, Grayscale adds another 10,000, adds another 20,000, adds another 50,000, Bitcoin. The whales can't continue these games much longer. Once they stop, we're going to go shoot up to 20,000 beyond really fast. Can you look at ETH to BTC chart? Give your thoughts on making a trade as the rate increases. Are you talking about BTC, like the ratio? I mean, I don't even need to look at it and I already know what's going on. But let's see if I could do ETH to BTC. Let's just do BitPay. Let's zoom out a little bit here. All right, so you could see that the BTC dominance is basically increasing over time, right? So there's short periods of bursts where ETH gains on BTC. So you could see like over here, kind of bottomed out a little bit and it's climbing up, but then it's going down, right? But ultimately what's happening is it's losing grounds to BTC. But if you want to look at, let's say, if you want to compare it to on a short-term scale, if you look at like 4 hour, this was horrific because it gained so much and it just fell back down. But if you look at 4 hour, it looks okay. Like right now, stochastic is about bottomed out. So if you go to the 1 hour, 1 hour looks like it's really good. It's about to turn up, right? But then again, who knows how much this is going to gain on BTC. If BTC starts pumping, guess what's going to happen? This is just going to tank, and this is going to go down again, right? So right now, let's just say I'm neutral on ETH, but I'd much rather have Bitcoin at this point than ETH. Let's just put it that way. Tony, you're contradicting yourself. Stop getting into pump and dump coins and buy some Phantom. Phantom is a pump and dump coin at this point. So you're just contradicting yourself. I missed the donation question. Which one, Clipboard? I'm trying to scroll up here. Oh, Michael. Yes, sorry. Thoughts on API 3? Why would you do that? Oh, first of all, I don't know what API 3 is, so I should... Okay. And I hate to do this, but the fact that the biggest one is being traded on Uniswap is not a good sign. So if you're Michael, if you're falling in because you're seeing him pump, hopefully that's not the main reason why you got into API 3. So this is a Chainlink competitor. Okay. So why don't you guys tell me why, or Michael, why you tell me why you did it? So, I mean, I can't tell you if it's good or bad project at just looking at it for 10 seconds. But I will say that if a project is pumping and it's because on Uniswap, and it's not on any other big exchanges out there, that worries me. That worries me because we know that a lot of projects pop up on Uniswap. Anyone can create a project and pop it up on Uniswap and cause it to pump. So hopefully you have good reason to get into it. Now, looking at this, a little troubling. Circulating supply, 13.8 million out of 100 million. So that means there's still 87% of tokens waiting to be released. So think about that. There's only 13% of the supply, 14%, okay, of the supply has been released. So there's still a ton that has not been released. So that's also a little troubling. Coca-Cola, I don't know if you're I I don't know what your deal is with Ethereum Classic. I don't hear anyone really. I don't hear anyone really is that hard over Ethereum Classic. I have to hear your side of things, please. Tell me why you're bullish on Ethereum Classic. Someone before asked, at this moment, is it possible to buy Bitcoin $10 and hold it? Is it a bad idea? It's never a bad idea to buy Bitcoin, but if you're expecting that $10 to turn into like a million, probably not anytime soon or ever. That's just too much of a gain. But can that $10 turn into $100 or $1,000? Yes. But to turn to a million with Bitcoin, probably not. Yeah, Ethereum Classic has been 51% attacked like 2, 3, 4 times now. Grayscale holds a ton of a lot of things, but Ethereum Classic, not so much. So they have about $80 million worth of Ethereum Classic, but compare that to Ethereum. Ethereum is 1.7 billion to 80 million. So Grayscale also holds Horizon 6.2 million, and that's so little. MT Coiner, I appreciate that, but no, I cannot seriously take a look at Hex. And I'm trying to be nice since you gave me a super chat, but no. I don't know how anyone could believe in Hex when Richard Hart has already come out and said before that Hex is just a money grab for him. He purely created it as a money grab for him, and I don't see how anyone could buy into that. All right, guys, I'm gonna let you guys go. It's getting hot in this room. But anyways, so Bitcoin is at a little bit under 19,000, slightly lower than yesterday, getting a little boring. But the whales, they're up to something. I'm not sure what they're up to, but I think they're failing. So I think the whales don't believe this narrative that institutions are getting in, and they're trying to do their whalish things. They're trying to put a big stand at 19.5, and it could be a number of reasons. They want to fear people into selling, or they want to control the market, or they think they're gonna lose control after it breaks 20,000. I don't know what the thing is, but I'll tell you this: Bitcoin whales do not have more money than Wall Street, and whatever they're selling, Wall Street is buying. They're buying and buying and buying. They have infinite amount of money to buy, and they're buying because they believe Bitcoin is going to go much higher, and they're buying because of the hedge against inflation and hedge against what may come in 2021, right? And they have a lot of money to protect. They have billions to trillions to protect. So I don't know what the whales are going to do, but they're just transferring the Bitcoins, and if they keep doing this, they're going to lose it all. They're going to lose it all, and yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. So anyways, I'm probably going to do another video today on Crypto Today. It's going to be a segment video, so make sure you subscribe and check it out. Otherwise, you guys have a good rest of your day, and we'll see what happens this weekend. I still stand by. We could see 20,000 this week. So we got today, tomorrow, and Sunday, and we'll see what happens. All right. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out my Patreon page, and of course, follow me on Twitter. All right. Take care, guys. Bye-bye. Oh, I forgot. I did talk about XRP today. So those of you guys that are interested, I do have something to show you guys. Hold on.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larson.